Alright, this video continues on with the how to put kitchens in. The other video we put the kitchen bench and the fridge and the gas oven. What we'll do now is just put an island bench in. This one's very easy. We'll keep it in. We'll do this in plan view. It's a component. Find it up here. It will be kitchen island bench. Boom. Put that down. We should be able to align this. Oh, it stretches it. Oh, I don't want that. Let's move it instead. Boom. I'm about 200 mil short, so I'm going to move that over 100. And I'm going to increase the width of the bench to 2.6, because that's what I'm feeling like it is. Looks good to me. Probably go 2.7. Never mind. Alright, let's just make sure it's in a good position. Let's just make that 100 off the frame. Alright, and if we go to 3D view, you'll see there's a bench. Looking good. You'll also be able to, if you need to, see, this is why it's important to have it as instant parameters as opposed to the fridge. So I've stuffed up the fridge before by having them as type parameters. See them as instant, it means I can have two island benches. One can be 1 meter wide and one can be that wide. So you've got one in the main kitchen and say one in a granny flat. And you don't have to duplicate it up here and actually go duplicate island bench granny flat. You know, you'll just have an island bench and with its own distinct features. As opposed to the fridge now, because I've stuffed that one up and it doesn't have instant parameters, it's got type parameters. It means if I have a granny flat, I'll have to duplicate this fridge and call it fridge granny flat, and we don't want that. So I eventually, in templates to come, will fix that and it will become instance parameters, but at the moment, no. So we do have this, at least the island bench is all good. So we're good to go with that. Best thing about the island bench, well, I don't need this one anymore, do I? Let's work with this one. Best thing with the island bench is in a couple of ticks, you're able to change it from a standard island bench to a waterfall edge island bench. You can turn off stand and turn on waterfall edge, and it actually adds it perfectly. Notice the importance. So at the moment it's 2580 across. Is that correct? Is that what I wanted it to be? Hang on. 2.6, yeah, 2.6 across. Now, what happens, normally with a standard bench, it is 2.6, right? What happens a lot of the time is when you want to add waterfall edges that are bigger, if you can't just add them on because you're actually extending the bench width, which is wrong. You need to be able to bring this wall and this wall here, this face, in like 16, 20 mil to actually allow for that waterfall edge. And it's absolutely a nightmare when you're having to do that like as a custom kitchen. But I've taken that in consideration. So when the waterfall edge is added, you'll notice that is already taken care of, and those walls come in, the waterfall edge is added, yet the overall distance of that is exactly still 26, and that's important. And I've even made it where you've got one waterfall edge, so this is times 2, but you can make one-sided, right? Because this is important, because this job would probably want, like if it was having a waterfall edge and it's up against the wall, you wouldn't have that one. So let's see if I can bring that in. So see, it's still 2.6, even though I've added a 20 mil waterfall edge. It's because I had to spend time with the family making sure those other items come in when I do add these things. If, for instance, this job, you wanted the one waterfall edge, you're like, oh, it's on the wrong side, that's such a pain. Say the kitchen's over here and you're like, oh, I want the waterfall edge over here, not there. Then all you have to do is in floor plan mode, just like any other feature, I've added the control points which allow you to flip. And so by clicking on that, you can actually flip the kitchen. And there you go, you've got it on that side. And it's that easy. So I didn't have to make a left side waterfall edge and a right side. I just had a 1 and a 2. And for this one, it's none of them. So if anyone in the future wants a waterfall edge The only thing you have to change is a tick, and it makes life extremely easy. So there we go. What else was there? Oh, simple things also that come with it is you can change the breakfast bar to say 400 if you needed to. Again, this also works with the waterfall edge, so if you turn on waterfall edge, there it is. And it also works if you have a 40mm bench top. So there's also one here called bench top thickness. If you change that to 40. Now it's very important again. If the bench was 2.6 overall, it is important that it stays 2.6 overall. And if a 40mm bench top is added, it is important we stick to that. And instead of wasting time shrinking everything, and it's so tedious, the important thing is here that even with a 40mm bench top, I can make this a 100mm bench top, and the bench, island bench, is going to stay 2.6. It's extremely important. And the second that I get rid of it, it stays 2.6. Oops, still got my 100mm bench top. So it doesn't matter if you've got a one-sided bench top over there. If it's a feature bench top, that works, but it would either be 40, works beautifully, or it'll be a standard 20mm bench top. And again, you can have that breakfast bar too goer as far as you want to. Not that you probably, oh well, you might do that if it's like one of those, you know how sometimes you have those 1200s and you build some back walls, some back, I don't know what they're called, back cupboards, something like that. You can customize and just put them in yourself by using that component and model in place. And I would just casework it and just pick a plane, and I'd just work from the back, just build my cupboard from there. Oops, build my cupboard. It's probably 880, and I'll probably go across. Yeah, that's how I build my other cupboard. Oh, that needs to be probably 500. Something like that when you needed to, but I wouldn't worry about that now. Let's get out of that. And we'll send that back to its standard. See how quickly it looks so bad, that island bench, but watch how quickly I can get it back to what it should be. 2.6. Bench top. It's a standard bench. Boom, there it is. Beautiful. And just before we finish, adding kitchen sinks to these is quite easy. It works the same way as this range hood, this cooker did. So when you go to component and you go to sink, there's only one kitchen sink now. There's not 1.5 boil double 1.5 bowl double bowl. It's all in this one. So you just click kitchen sink. Right? Again, it's not letting you do it because it's doing this stupid vertical thing. Place on vertical face. No. We want it to be place on face. And we're back in action. And as soon as you do that, see how it grabs this line? It's actually the perfect line that wherever you put this, when you're doing your plumbing plan, it's the exact distance, so you can be confident to know when you do a plumbing dimension, it'll go to the exact plumbing hole when you put this in. So that's just another cool feature. But here we go, you place it down, and the best thing about this now that we have had before is the voids are cut out of the sink. You don't have to cut them like manually out of the bench. And if someone goes, oh, we want a single bowl sink, you just click on the object. Over here you have parameters. There's a visibility parameters, and here's your 1.5 bowl. Here's your single bowl. Here's your double bowl. And it works beautifully. And the best part is on a plumbing plan, if that was your plumbing plan, and you know, if you had text here saying sink and sink, and say what always happened if you change sinks, those dimensions on your plumbing plan would disappear, but not anymore. If you change the sink to that, your notes still stay. It is beautiful. Well, that's all. I'll show you more on the sinks in the next video. Goodbye.